Hey guys, it's Christine and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about everything laser hair removal. I want to go over where I went, what I had done, the cost, my experience, my results, everything. When I was looking into laser hair removal, this is the type of video that I was looking for because, I don't know, some people are very secretive about it. Like, do the lasers hurt? Do they leave scars? Do they burn? How often do you have to go? And it can be pretty pricey depending on what you want done and where you go. So I feel like a video like this is super helpful if you are researching to get anything done and kind of the timeline and stuff like that. So we are going to go ahead and just get started. So I have notes on my phone. I documented every single session so that I could not skip a beat and have all of the information ready to go for you guys. So I want to start out saying that I did a ton of research before I went ahead and did this. I did a lot of Googling, a lot of looking on Groupon just for places to go. I'm newer to California, so I didn't really know where I wanted to go. So upon my Google searches, the two main companies that kept coming up was SEV Laser and then Laser Away. And I have to say, I looked at Laser Away first because they had a ton of promotions. They were saying 70% off any treatment, stuff like that. But their website is not user-friendly. And to be honest, the vibe that they have to go about, I guess, getting customers isn't my favorite. So when you go on the website, you basically have to answer this whole entire questionnaire on your hair color, what you want to have done, put in your email, your phone number, and stuff like that. And then after they start sending you ads and emails and stuff like that, then you can go ahead and schedule the appointment, which doesn't really rub me the right way. I'm a very budget friendly person. I do research on just about everything before I buy it and before I spend money. So the fact that I went to the website for pricing, but I had to answer all of these questions first before, and still to this day, I have no idea how much it costs to get laser at Laser Away. But I can say that I got phone calls just about twice a day for 3 weeks, which was so annoying. I live in Southern California in Orange County, and I was getting phone calls from the Beverly Hills one, from the Calabasas one. I was getting phone calls from Laser Away everywhere. And like I said, I still have no idea how much the laser costs there. So I went with SEV Laser, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so happy with my experience. I'm so happy with my results. I'm very comfortable with the cost that it took. And this is not sponsored at all, but I just have not enough good things to say about it because of how well the experience went for me. So their website, totally user-friendly. I will put in a price chart as of January 2023 for Southern California on the screen so that you guys can see everything that they offer, and all of the pricing is very straightforward, and it is literally right there. There's no extra costs. What they have is what I paid. And I first found out about SEV, the company in general, back in 2019 when they did SEV X Alfred. So I knew about it, I've heard people talk about it, and I saw their billboards and everything. So I was really comfortable with going with that company. So when setting up an appointment, you would just go on their website, you would just select what you want to have done. It shows you a calendar, you can pick a day, it tells you how long the appointments are, and you go through that whole process. It tells you all of the things you can't do before your appointment. And then the day before your first appointment, somebody calls you and just goes over the first time. You can ask them any questions you have. The phone call is probably maximum 2 minutes, and they just make sure that you're not pregnant, that you didn't have any sun exposure, you're not using any harsh chemicals on your skin. So that's the day before the appointment, and then the next day you go in normal and you start your process, and the rest is honestly history. So one thing I have to say is I would recommend booking 2 appointments at a time. Your first one is totally fine when you book it online, and then when you leave your appointment, they can book your next one. Laser hair removal is a very popular thing, and although the appointments are short, some appointments can be as short as 5 minutes, they are still filling every 5-minute slot back to back with people, so it's sometimes hard to get in there. So now I want to talk about what I had done. So at SEV, I did the full legs, which is called daddy long legs, which I think is so funny. I had the thickest, most coarse hair on my legs. I'm the type of person where the minute I'm cold, the minute I get out of the shower, any breeze, my hair grows back absolutely immediately. And that was so frustrating to me because I'm also the type of person who always needed to be like freshly shaven. So I was shaving every single day, which is like 20 minutes a day in the shower extra just to shave. So I knew when I was looking into laser hair removal, the thing that I wanted done the absolute most was my full legs. So SEV pricing, again, as I said, January 2023 in this area, it was $155 a session, or you can buy 5 sessions at once and get the 6th free. So you could get 6 sessions for $775 and you'd save $155. And that's what I did because every single review and video and all of my research said that you need at least 5 sessions. So I'm like, okay, I might as well pay for the 5 and then just get the 6th free just in case I need it or not. And I'm really glad I did. Although the results are like amazing and awesome and perfect, I do think that 6th session is necessary and some people need more than that. I remember my tech telling me that it took her 9 sessions fully to be completely hair free. And then you can always pay, I think it's like $80 for a 5-minute touch-up somewhere later on down the road if your hormones change or anything like that, because I did read somewhere that as your hormones change after you get pregnant or just the 7-year cycle that happens, your hair can kind of grow back patchy, not at all maybe, or sporadically. Like anything can happen with hormones. So I did want to mention that because I was really curious about that when I was researching also. And then we'll get to this later, but on my 5th session I added another area because I was loving the results and I'm like, I just need to be like a dolphin. I just want to be the silky, smooth, hairless dolphin. That's all I wanted. So I added on the full bikini, which is also known as the Brazilian, and they call it When Harry Met Sally. So I'll talk about that a bit later because I've only had a few sessions of that, but as of right now, I'm done with my legs sessions. Okay, so now we're gonna kind of get into the process and how my appointments went and everything like that. So I had an appointment on a Tuesday and I was so surprised. The website says like 15 minutes, but it was truly like 10 to 15 minutes. The appointment was so fast. You basically go in, they ask you again, are you pregnant? Are you breastfeeding? Like all of this stuff. And then you lay on this table, they take out the little white chalk and then they just draw like a grid line pattern on your legs. And then you put on goggles and literally they just zap you for less than 15 minutes. They give you some aloe vera and some lotion to put on after and you are in and out, sis. You are in and you are out. Like it is so fast. And I feel like everybody kind of tries to describe what it feels like. So it's going to be pretty much comparable to what everybody else says. It kind of just feels like a rubber band is snapping against your legs. And it's like this heat zap, but they're also blowing like freezing cold air on you at the same time. So it's a little bit uncomfortable and an awkward feeling, but it doesn't hurt. It's not like a rubber band slapping you and then you're gonna be black and blue or like bleeding after, like definitely not. It's just like a little tap. And because they're not just in one area, they're just like moving along in the grid pattern, it doesn't really end up hurting. It's just uncomfortable. And then all of the techs that I've had, I think I've had 3 different techs over the course of my 6 sessions there. They're all so friendly, so nice. They can distract you if you want. They'll just talk to you about work, school, anything that's going on. What are you doing for the holiday? Or you can go on your phone, like anything like that to just make the 15 minutes go by quick. And I didn't find it awkward at all. Everybody was very friendly, very professional. It was honestly a really good experience. And then the only thing that kind of caught me off guard is that, I mean, I'm still learning this whole world, I guess. But they ask for tips after, which I was just not expecting because you paid for the package ahead of time. So I didn't incorporate the cost of how much a tip would be each time over the course of 6 sessions. So honestly, after that day, I had to go home and research how much you're supposed to tip, if you're supposed to tip, like how often and stuff like that. So I would encourage you guys to do your own research because I don't want to tell somebody how to tip on their sessions. It's just whatever you find fits best. But I was not expecting that, so I wanted to bring that up. So my appointment was on Tuesday, and then on Thursday, I still didn't have any hair. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm used to shaving every single day. When you leave the appointment, they tell you not to shave for 7 days, not to exercise or sweat for 24 hours, and then also not to shower in a hot shower for 24 hours. So obviously I'm not looking to shave, but on Thursday I was just documenting. At that time I still didn't have any hairs grow back. And then on Saturday I woke up with achy legs. They hurt when I was cold, when I got goosebumps, and when I was laying in bed, just like between the sheets, my legs, like if I put pressure from the blankets on my legs, they just hurt. And I didn't hear anybody else say that, so I was like, oh, is this normal? Like, there was no redness or like serious pain, so I knew I was gonna be fine. It was just like almost as if the pressure of the hairs trying to pop through my skin were just like hurting. I know this sounds so weird, but I wanted to mention it. Like, I just remember my knees and the top of my thighs specifically just like hurt. And then that lasted until Monday, and that was the only time that that pain happened. So only my first session was that kind of like achy feeling. It didn't happen again after that at all. So that was Saturday, and then Monday I did have some random hairs pop through the skin. I tried to exfoliate in the shower. It was one day early from the 7 days, and at this point I was getting a little worried because my skin wasn't soft even though there was no hair. And again, like, I didn't see this anywhere that I researched. So I thought that at the end of the 6 sessions, my skin would just stay bumpy even though there was no hair, and that's not the type of result that I wanted. So I was getting worried that the results were going to be no hair but bumpy skin, which isn't the case. Like, I think that's just your skin. This whole first session, I think it's just your skin kind of getting used to the process. Like, it's a totally unnatural thing that's going on. So your skin does end up getting back to its normal regular texture. It's just this first time, but I was worried about that because I was like, are these results going to be worth it? And then I wrote that the hair, the little patches that did grow back, was mostly on my shin, which was just interesting because I feel like that's where I always have the most hair anyway. And during the sessions, it was always my shin and close to my ankle that hurt the most during the laser. It was just like the bony little areas, I guess, that just affected me the most. And then that's all I wrote about the first session. So my second appointment was a month later on a Wednesday. She told me that she upped the power level by 1. I don't know what it was before, and I don't know what she put it to, but she told me she increased it by 1. And then again, I wrote during laser, my shins and calves specifically just hurt during this session. And then that's all I wrote for after the second session. Like I said, the bumps weren't as noticeable, and I didn't have any like pressure pain. So yeah, that was everything for session number 2. And then my third session, she said that she moved my dial up to a 10. So I'm assuming I was at an 8 and a 4 in the prior sessions because it just sounds like it goes up by 2. After the session, I was pretty red, which didn't happen the first 2 times, but it didn't really hurt. My legs were just kind of hot. And she said obviously being a little red is normal. So that was everything for session 3. And then session 4, she told me she moved it up to a 12. And she said most people go to a 14. Spoiler alert, I never made it to a 14. I guess my legs just were, I don't know why they were staying so red, but I never left the number 12 for that session and then the next 2. But I still have really good results even though they never went up to the highest number, so I'm totally fine with that if that's what made it the most comfortable. And for some reason she just kept saying that my legs were very, very, very red that time. And then my 5th appointment, I was red again. She stayed at a 12. She really, that time, really wanted me to take aloe. Like, I said, oh no, like I should be good. And she's like, no, please just use it. So she really recommended that. But again, like I was really red that time and I still didn't have any pain. And then that's the appointment in person. I added a Brazilian because I was loving the results and I wanted to try something else. So the Brazilian appointment is actually only 5 minutes, which is so fast. I did a ton of research because, I don't know, it's a little uncomfortable being in that position, whatever, when you're getting lasered in a very private area. But I have to say that it wasn't what some of the reviews said. Like, a lot of people said that you had to sit on your knees or you had to lay sideways. Like for me, you did like a butterfly position and then you laid on your side and that was it. It was the fastest 5 minutes of my whole entire life. And during this appointment, I had to kind of trust the process. She said with the Brazilian, you would notice results a lot faster. And when I got home in the first full week after that, like I didn't notice a big change. So I was getting really worried that like I just didn't have the right hair for it, or maybe it's gonna take me longer than 6 sessions for this body part. Like I wasn't sure. And then it was exactly almost 1 week later where a ton of hair just like did not grow back. Like it was just so patchy and you could specifically tell where the hair was growing back randomly, but other than that, like, hair was just not growing. And again, I've only had one session for Brazilian, so I can make another video if you guys want me to about that whole process. But so far, I'm really, really loving the results. And for that one, I also bought 6 sessions for the price of 5, so good deal on that one. And then for my 6th and final appointment for my leg, I was very surprised. There was no pressure to add on anything else or do any other laser hair removal treatments. It was like, oh, okay, like, come back in a month or 2 if you want to do a 7th session, if you want to do a touch-up. So right now it's just kind of like a waiting game to see what hair grows back, if it grows back at all, and stuff like that. So the last appointment was easy peasy. And I do have to say, one thing that I really liked also about SEV, I don't know if it was just my location or if it's their company in general, but to reschedule appointments or to change something, or if they can take you early, a lot of it's done through texting, which I don't know if everybody likes that, but I loved that because I work a 9 to 5 and I can't always be leaving to go on my phone. But when they would just text me saying, hey, if you want to show up 30 minutes earlier, we can take you. Or hey, do you want to come in today instead of tomorrow? Like, it was all through text and so fast and so easy. And they're so nice. They will like text back with like a heart emoji or like a winky face or something like that. So I guess wrapping this up about my experience with hair removal at SEV, I've done 6 complete sessions on my legs and I have 1 done for my Brazilian. And so far I'm loving the results. Like I said, I'm going to wait a month or 2 to see if I need to go back for a touch-up or another session. But honestly, like 6 sessions, there is such a big difference. Right now, I'm not shaving except like every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I'm just really loving the results right now, and I'm honestly so mad that I waited this long to do it. I wish that I did this years and years ago because it saves so much time in the shower. The appointments are so fast and so efficient. And you probably save so much money on shaving cream and razors. And I'm a huge proponent of like buying your time back. So if I don't have to shave for 20 minutes a day for 7 days a week, and I can just go to 1 5-minute appointment down the road, like that is so worth it to me. So if you're looking for a sign to see if laser hair removal is right for you, or if you want to do it or anything like that, take this as your sign. I really recommend it and I love the results. So if you guys have any questions that you want to leave in the comments down below, I will be happy to answer them. And if you guys have any laser hair removal stories or experiences you want to share, I would love to hear them. So yeah, that's my experience and everything that I wanted to talk about today. So until next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye!